Hey guys, it's Darwin. It's that time yet again to answer more of your questions. Alright, so this is the first official Q&A of 2020, and just to let you guys know, I'm probably not going to be doing as many Q&As this year, mainly because I'm going to be spending so much time on trail. Between the AT, the Great Divide Trail, the Colorado Trail, going to Peru, it's probably going to be hard for me to find time to sit down and do these, but if I do ask for questions and you're not getting notified of that, all you have to do is go up and hit that notification bell. I post all of that over on the community tab. And not only do I post that over there, but I'm also posting a lot of other events and things that I have going on this year, like the release of my film that comes out next month in February, so where you can get tickets, the showings, all the release dates, plus some meet and greets and some other things that I'm going to be doing when I'm out on the East Coast. So if you want to be notified of any of that stuff going on, just go hit that little bell and I'll let you know over there. All right, so without further ado, let's get into the Q&A. Kind of a gross one to start out with, but how many toenails have you lost in your years of hiking? Any advice on how to prevent losing them? So yeah, I have lost quite a handful of toenails, not only in my years of hiking, but also in my years of racing triathlon. So I used to race long distance triathlon, so a lot of long distance running and cycling, and now long distance hiking. And anybody that does that knows that you're bound to lose a toenail or two, which is kind of gross and an unfortunate side effect of that. The main thing that I try to do to prevent it as much as possible is making sure that I have enough room in my shoe. So the reason I tend to size up about half a size is because I want about a thumb width between my big toe and the top of the toe box of the shoe. And that's the other reason that I hike in the types of shoes that I hike in. Instead of hiking in a boot or some sort of a leather hiking shoe, I hike in a trail runner that has a super wide toe box on it, like the Ultras that I hike in. Mainly because I want to make sure that I have that room so when I'm coming downhill on a descent, I'm not slamming my toes into that toe box and creating dead toenails. Now, in answer to your question, how many? I think in the last 5 years, just from long distance hiking, I've probably had 3, which isn't too bad. I think I had more than that in all the years that I raced in triathlon, so I think 3 is not bad, but overall, that's a pretty gross question, but I guess thanks for asking it. I'm flying down for your AZT documentary in Flagstaff. Can you tell me how to get tickets for this? Yeah, so just like I mentioned about the notification bell and posting things over on the community tab, a couple weeks ago I did post how you can get tickets for the premiere of my film on February 17th. Basically everything that's going on, that I'm going to be doing a Q&A, a meet and greet. We're going to be releasing a beer that I actually partnered with a brewery out of Phoenix, and 100% of the proceeds from the premiere are going back to the Arizona Trail Association. And don't worry, if you can't make the premiere here in Flagstaff, which I'm sure a lot of you can't, I will be releasing the film a week later on February the 24th on Monday on my website, theoutdoorevolution.com. There you'll be able to download it, either buy it or rent it, and 50% of the proceeds from all of those downloads and rentals will also go back to the Arizona Trail Association. So hopefully that covers everything. If you want more information, I'll put a link down below to where you can get tickets if you plan on being in the area and coming out to see the premiere. And I hope to see you all there. And Kim, I'll see you then. How about stop YouTubing and just hike, man? If I stopped YouTubing, I couldn't annoy the crap out of you and have you leave comments like that. So, no, I think I'll do both. I think I'll hike and then YouTube. Hiking with your wife, you don't share a tent? You could save weight or simplify your sleep setup. Yeah, so Eric, back in 2015 and 16, whenever my wife and I were on the Appalachian Trail, we did share a tent. What happens is after you hike over 2,000 miles, crammed in the same space with somebody every single night, and you're stinky, and you're sweaty, and you're gross, you don't want to do it anymore. So what we found out throughout the years is for us, it just makes more sense to have 2 shelters. The other reason why we don't share a shelter anymore is because a lot of times on a long distance hike, even when you're with a loved one, you can get split up. Maybe there's a day where I'm hiking out ahead of her and she doesn't make it as far as I do to the next shelter or the next camp spot. she has a shelter that she can set up. In 2018, we did a bike tour of the Blue Ridge Parkway, and we did share one tent, but that was kind of a rare exception. Nowadays, we definitely use two tents. She has kind of her favorite tent, which is a freestanding. I have my favorite tents that are trekking pole tents. We both get the gear that we want to use, and just in case something happens, we both will have a shelter.
Hey Darwin, it's Jamie. I got a question for you. So I'm doing a PCT through hike for this year 2020, and I'm wondering what you do for physical recovery. Do you do any kind of stretching or any kind of specific exercises? Also, do you have anything else besides vitamin I to help with pain management? Is there any suggestions that you have along that area? I'm a big dude. I know I'm going to be pretty sore, so I'm just trying to look for any tips I can get that might help me be more successful on my through hike. Appreciate the response, and thanks for all the videos, man. They really help out a lot. They really help me kind of tune in my gear a little bit, so appreciate everything you do. Thanks a lot, man.
So yeah, one of the things that I've really tried to do over the past 2 years is step up my recovery game on the trail. Now, first that starts with stretching. Whenever I get done with the day of hiking, before I sit down and I get comfortable and start eating, I like to make sure I get limber and stretch everything out. So that way I'm not directly sitting down after hiking all day and cramping up and, making my knees hurt, making my feet hurt. So I'll try to stretch out. The next thing that I've started doing is carrying a massage ball. So the massage ball that I carry is a little cork ball by a company called Rology. And basically, as I'm sitting down, as I'm eating, after I've stretched, I start taking that ball and rubbing my feet out, rubbing my legs out, and any kind of sore muscle or something that I feel like that is strained. And it doesn't matter if you're a bigger guy or not. Smaller guys, bigger guys, whoever, I think still need to stretch and still do a little bit of recovery when they're on the trail. Because when you're hiking all day, it just beats the crap out of your body. And as far as your question about pain management, obviously vitamin I is going to be the most easily accessible. You're going to be able to find it in just about any town, but it's not exactly the best for your stomach. And over the past year, 2 years, I've really tried to limit my use of it. I still use it from time to time, but something else that I started using on the PCT in 2018 were CBD products. From a CBD tincture that I would take at night before I went to sleep to help me get good sleep, to make sure that I wasn't tossing and turning because my legs or my feet hurt, and then a CBD balm that I picked up that I could rub into those sore muscles. So, CBD is not going to work for everybody. It has worked for me. And if you want some suggestions on the CBD products that I use, I'll leave some links down below so you can check those out. Silly question of the day. Have you ever heard of anyone using Amazon to send themselves resupply boxes on the trail? So Dale, it's actually not a silly question at all. I personally have sent myself boxes off of Amazon. And I know a bunch of hikers that do that. The one thing to keep in mind though, are a lot of post offices will not accept packages from Amazon. So because they're the USPS, and sometimes Amazon sends things through UPS or FedEx or any of those other delivery services, sometimes they will not accept packages. So what I tend to do if I'm going to order something off of Amazon Prime is I will send it to a hostel or some local business that accepts packages for hikers, and that way I make sure that I get it.
Hey Darwin, Travis here, longtime listener, first time caller. I was curious what your thoughts / opinion / stance would be on a backpack tax or a tax on other outdoor equipment and backpacking equipment if the proceeds of said tax were used to permanently fund trail conservation and trail maintenance, similarly to what we've done with the Dingell-Johnson Act and the Pittman-Roberts Act. Yeah, let me know. I'm curious to know what you think. And if you ever find yourself in Montana, drop me a line.
You know what? I've actually never thought about taxing backpacking stuff, but I guess it makes sense. Now, I don't want to get into like a political debate with anybody, but I guess if you're asking me, they tax everything else. I guess we might as well take some of that tax money from whenever you buy backpacking equipment, or maybe have to buy a permit and take that and put it towards the trail systems, put it towards the national forest, put it towards the national parks. Yeah, why not? Again, we tax everything else that everyone buys and uses, so why not have some sort of a backpacking tax? I personally would probably be in favor of that. Let us know more details about what you're considering in fashioning your own shelter. I think a lot of us would expect some add-ons to the pocket tarp with the bug net material from Zpacks, and then the bathtub floor as well. This is our thinking, but what is yours? Yeah, Luke, so if anybody watched my last video where I was talking about my big 3 for 2020, something I have really struggled with over this past year is finding the perfect shelter for myself. You know, I want something that is light, it's simple to set up, it uses one trekking pole, it's made out of DCF, and it is long enough. I'm 6'1", and the truth is most backpacking tents just aren't long enough for taller people. So I'm just 6'1", I can't imagine how someone that is 6'4", or 6'5", or 7 foot feels going out to look for a shelter. So I've really started to research and even talk to a handful of companies about maybe developing or even bringing back a tent for longer people. So yeah, I'm already doing that. Hopefully I'll have one in my hands soon. I've already talked to a couple people. I've already been looking at a few options and some custom built options. But as taller people need longer shelters. There's a lot of tall hikers, so why not make longer shelters? So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I am working on it. I'm trying to find the perfect shelter, and hopefully I can find someone that will let me help develop a new shelter. That'd be super cool, and I'm sure I'll let you guys know. What's your preferred instant coffee of choice when on trail? So I have drank a lot of instant coffees over the past couple years, from Alpine Start, which I really dug on the PCT, to a brand of coffee called Camp Craft that I started kind of drinking this past year, to what has become sort of my favorite instant coffee lately, a company called CS. Now, what makes CS different from the other brands is they use a bigger packaging. So instead of the little tubes that make only 8 ounces of coffee, CS coffee is 16 ounces. So if you're a coffee drinker like me, I don't want to use 2 of those little tubes and create more litter and more waste. Having one of the pouches of CS coffee makes 16 to 20 ounces of coffee. So for me, that's a good thing because I like caffeine. And the other cool thing is their packaging is 100% compostable. So using like a compostable packaging is, for me, just a little step of something that I can do to kind of help lessen my footprint during a thru hike. Plus, I really dig the taste of their coffee. So yeah, that's what I've been drinking recently is CS coffee. But again, I really dig Alpine Start, Camp Craft coffee, and I mean the old standard standby Starbucks Via. One of my favorite coffees of all time, and you can usually find it just about anywhere. I don't understand your aversion to the CDT. So I have no aversion to the CDT. I think there's a lot of people that think that I hate the Continental Divide Trail. That's not true. I've actually hiked quite a bit of it in New Mexico, almost all of New Mexico of the CDT. And the reason that I'm not hiking it, as I've explained in the past, is just because for me, there's a lot of other better trails, in my opinion, that I want to get out and hike before I do the CDT. Now, I know the Triple Crown means a lot to a lot of people, but to me, it just doesn't mean anything. I don't really care about Triple Crown or not Triple Crown or how many miles or long distance, whatever. There's a lot of really awesome trails that are really perking my interest that I'd rather go hike first. And then eventually, yeah, I'll get around to the CDT, but I have no aversion to it. Just right now, I don't really care about it. It's not really on my radar. So hopefully that settles that. Yeah. All right, guys, last question of this Q&A, and it might be a little bit of a controversial one, but we'll see. What pisses you off about other hikers / what are bad hiking habits you suggest avoiding at all cost? So there are tons of bad hiking habits. There's tons of things that people do on trail that maybe I don't necessarily agree with. But I guess if I had to give one thing that pisses me off more than anything else, it's hikers discouraging other hikers on their gear, on how many miles they're hiking, how they're setting their tent up. It's these people that think that they know best. And obviously we have that with everything in the world, right? You're not going to escape that. But to me, hiking is this community experience, right? It's this thing where everybody out on trail connects with each other. We're all close, we're all tight, we're all equal. So for somebody to be out on trail and think that they're better than someone else because of the miles that they hike or because of the gear that they use or whatever, that is what really pisses me off. And it's because for me, I don't ever want to push anybody away from the hiking community. I want to let everybody in. I want to educate as many as possible. I want to inspire people to be in this community, whoever you are, race, color, religion, sex, whatever. Everybody belongs in this community. So the thing that pisses me off the most are people that are trying to push other people away from this amazing community. Hopefully that's not too deep or controversial for anybody, but you ask my thoughts and my opinions, and that's one that I kind of hold pretty deep. So, all right, guys, so that's going to do it for this Q&A. And like I said, I'm probably not going to be doing a lot of these this year just because I'm going to be out on trail so much. Now, if for some reason your question didn't get answered and you've been asking it the last handful of Q&As, chances are I've probably answered it in the past. I've done like 40 something of these Q&As over the past handful of years, so I'll put a link down below to the playlist for all of those. Maybe scan through, see if I've answered one of those questions before, and just enjoy some old media of my beard being longer or shorter, my hair, and the weird eyebrows that I make. Yeah, enjoy some of those. Now, like I said early on in the beginning of the video, I am going to be posting a lot of events that I'm going to try to do throughout the year. Since I'm going to be out on the East Coast for the AT, I'll be up in Canada for the Great Divide Trail, I'll be in Colorado for the Colorado Trail. I'm going to try to do a handful of events, meetups, maybe some speaking engagements. Plus, if you want any information when I release the film, I'm going to put everything over on the community tab. So if you're not getting notifications on that stuff, just go up and hit that little bell. Be a part of the community. Be a part of my community here on YouTube. Get those notifications. Find out where I'm going to be if you want to come out and hang out and have a beer and talk gear and all that whatnot. Whatever. Go hit the little bell and you'll get notified when that happens. I am really jacked to get this year started with the AT in less than like 60 days, and hopefully you guys will follow along on all my hikes this year. If you found any value in this video, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And as always, guys, hey, thanks for watching.